Good evening. It is midnight in Nigeria, and across this nation, families are praying. They are praying for peace. They are praying for protection. They are praying for an end to the terror that has gripped too many communities for far too long. If you're watching this and you believe in the power of prayer, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. We explore the spiritual strength that nations find in their darkest hours, and your subscription helps us reach more people who need to hear these messages of hope. Terrorism in Nigeria is not a distant news headline. It is a reality that has touched millions of lives. Children have lost parents. Parents have lost children. Communities have been displaced. Homes have been destroyed. But tonight, we gather, not in despair, but in faith. We gather to pray. We gather to declare that darkness does not have the final word. Light does. God does. The chains of terrorism are real. They bind communities in fear. They bind families in grief. They bind a nation in uncertainty. But chains can be broken. History shows us this. Prayer shows us this. Faith shows us this. When a people unite in prayer, when they refuse to surrender their spirit, even as their circumstances seem overwhelming, transformation becomes possible. This is not naive optimism. This is the testimony of countless nations and countless individuals who have walked through valleys of shadow and emerged on the other side. Nigeria has known seasons of peace before. Nigeria will know them again. But that future is not guaranteed by government action alone, though government action matters. That future is secured when the people of Nigeria, in their homes and in their hearts, choose to pray, choose to believe, choose to refuse the narrative that terror wins. Let us pray for the hostages still held in captivity. Let us pray for their families, who endure a different kind of captivity, the captivity of not knowing. Let us pray for their safe return, and let us pray for the peace that will flood their hearts when they are reunited with those they love. This is not a prayer for vengeance. This is a prayer for restoration. Let us pray for the soldiers and security personnel who stand on the front lines. They face danger daily. They face situations that would break the spirit of ordinary people. Yet they continue. They continue because they believe Nigeria is worth protecting. They continue because they have made a choice to serve. These men and women need our prayers. They need our respect. They need to know that the nation sees them and honors their sacrifice. Let us pray for the leaders of Nigeria, those in government, those in the military, those in law enforcement. Leadership in a time of crisis is immensely difficult. The decisions they make affect millions. The weight of those decisions is crushing. They need wisdom that transcends political calculation. They need clarity that transcends the noise of competing voices. They need divine guidance. This is what prayer offers them. Let us pray for the communities that have been hardest hit. Some of these communities have lost so much. Some have lost so many. The trauma runs deep. The scars are visible in the eyes of survivors, in the abandoned buildings, in the silence where laughter used to be. These communities need more than sympathy. They need restoration. They need resources. They need the presence of God, which prayer invites. Like this video if you believe that prayer has the power to change nations. If you've ever experienced the inexplicable peace that comes from trusting God in difficult circumstances, that's what we're calling for tonight. Not blind hope, but faith grounded in the character of God and the resilience of the Nigerian people. Let us pray for the media in Nigeria, for journalists who report these stories with integrity and courage. They expose truth. They hold power accountable. They risk their safety to inform the public. Journalists are sometimes caught in the crossfire, literally and figuratively. They deserve protection and our gratitude. Let us pray for the young people of Nigeria. So many young Nigerians have grown up in a climate of insecurity. Their formative years have been shaped by news of attacks and abductions. Yet many of them refuse to be defined by fear. Many are pursuing education, building businesses, creating art, and dreaming of a better future. These young people are the future of Nigeria. They need our prayers and our investment. Let us pray for the neighbors who have become refugees in their own country. Internally displaced persons are often invisible in statistics, but they are visible to God. They have lost their homes. They have lost their livelihoods. They have lost the dignity of living in the place they know. Camps and temporary shelters are not what they wanted for themselves or their children. Prayer calls for their restoration to safety and home. Let us pray for healing, not just physical healing, though there are many who need that. Let us pray for emotional healing, for psychological healing, for spiritual healing. Trauma is not something that disappears when the immediate threat is gone. It echoes through years. It shapes how people see the world. Prayer opens the door to deep, abiding healing that only God can provide. Let us pray for the international community's involvement. Nigeria is part of a global family. Other nations have resources, expertise, and wisdom that can contribute to breaking the chains of terrorism. These partnerships matter. But our primary trust, our ultimate confidence, must rest in God, not in any nation or institution. Let us pray for unity among Nigerians. Terrorism seeks to divide. It seeks to create fear between communities, between religions, between regions. It seeks to make people see each other as threats rather than neighbors. Prayer counteracts this. Prayer unites. When a Christian prays for a Muslim neighbor, when a Muslim prays for a Christian neighbor, when Northerner prays for Southerner and Southerner for Northerner, this is when the chains begin to break. Let us pray for the children who have been orphaned by terror. These children carry a loss that no child should carry. Many are determined to become agents of peace and healing themselves. They need our prayers and our commitment to their education and care. Let us pray for the churches, the mosques, the homes where prayer happens. These are sacred spaces, not because of their architecture, but because of the hearts that gather within them. These spaces are sometimes targeted by those who would silence faith. They need protection. The freedom to worship needs protection. Let us pray for forgiveness and reconciliation. This is the hardest prayer. How do you forgive someone who has taken someone you love? How do you forgive an attack on your community? Yet, forgiveness is what breaks the deepest chains. Not forgetting, but forgiving. This is the spiritual power that terrorism cannot withstand. Let us pray for economic restoration. Terrorism devastates local economies. Farmers cannot farm safely. Traders cannot trade safely. Businesses cannot operate. Families cannot earn. Economic desperation can make vulnerable people susceptible to radicalization. Economic opportunity, by contrast, offers hope and purpose. Let us pray for the restoration of economic activity and prosperity in all regions of Nigeria. Let us pray that Nigeria's story of terror will not be Nigeria's final story. Every nation has chapters of darkness, but those chapters are not the end of the book. Nigeria's story continues. The pages yet to be written are not determined by terrorists. They are determined by the God in whom Nigerians believe, and by the choices Nigerians make each day to choose hope, to choose prayer, to choose each other. This is the midnight prayer for Nigeria. It is a prayer of faith. It is a prayer of declaration. It is a prayer that says darkness will not win. Terror will not reign forever. The chains will be broken. Nigeria will know peace again. Please subscribe to this channel if you believe in the power of collective prayer and the resilience of nations under pressure. And in the comments below, I'd like to hear from you. Have you or someone you know been affected by terrorism or insecurity? What prayer, what hope, what belief has sustained you? Share your testimony. Let us be strengthened by each other's faith.